What is up, neophytes and Novians alike? My name's Alan, aka Neocryptor, and welcome back to another Dual Universe Community Ship Showcase. Why did I just say that like William Shatner? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm going to be taking command of a very powerful vessel today in today's episode. Maybe something like that. Anyway, guys, yeah, so we only have one ship to look at today. I'm sorry, it's all I got time for. Hopefully you'll stick around after I roll this little thing that says my logo on it, and then we'll jump right in. All right, so today we are looking at the Crusader by Shadow Templar, guys. You guys might know who Shadow Templar is. They make the elevators that people seem to really enjoy, and some other cool things like the Horizons HUD system. For flight system, you may have heard of that. So yeah, today we are taking a look at the Crusader. She is a large core, and that's why we only have one ship today. But oh no, there's more than meets the eye here, because this ship, for the price tag that that is marketed at, which is 450 million quanta. my wallet cries whenever I say that, so you'll have to excuse me. But 450 million quantity, you not only get this magnificent beast, but you also get a specially coded elevator that works with this beast. You get a shuttle, you get a special AWP, and yeah, it's just value for the quanta, for sure. So yeah, let's jump right in, take a look. Let's take a stroll through this beastie, because she is going to take up some time, and that is why we've only got one ship today. Because wow, this thing is just, there's a lot to take in. So we have two bays, one on each side here. In this bay we have a shuttle that comes with a ship. It is, I believe, just called the Crusader shuttle, or Crusader shuttle. I'm not going to be flying everything today, but we're going to check out the main ship. We're going to try the elevator out, and yeah, that's probably going to be it. But this is definitely a warp shuttle, so you can kind of use this as your base of mobile operations and go wherever you need to. So down here we have an entranceway over to the other bay, which currently is vacant, but this is room for you to park your own ships in here. I mean, it wouldn't be cool if it was filled up with completely ships, would it be? And of course we have a res node here, we have a VR station, all the accoutrements of home, and then we have, look at these hallways. They're pretty well done. I like the detail, I like the railing. You will see that throughout this ship there is shield tanks everywhere, and that's because this thing is going to be pretty heavy on fuel. We have access to get into the engines on pretty much, I think, everywhere, to get in for repairs. If you're a sly ninja, you can just come through here this way. But yeah, this thing is impressive. I keep getting lost in it, so if you see a lot of cuts in this video, it's probably because I got lost and didn't know where I was at. We have the AGG back here with some seating, or something. This is a cool little piece. It reminds me of some kind of seating. I don't know what it's actually supposed to be, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Everything in here is pretty well detailed. I dig it. Look at you can see the little things there. Words are hard today. I think it's because of the ship. It's just a massive undertaking, just even walking around this ship. So I think that's really throwing me for a loop. But man, this thing is massive. Let's go on up a deck here and take a look what we got up here. We have a little room here too. You know what? I don't think I've actually seen this. Let's go explore. Let's go this way. What's over this way? I think it's just catwalks, but don't know for sure. Okay, yeah, access to the catwalks and more tanks. As you can see, lots and lots of tanks. Did I mention there might be a few fuel tanks in the ship? And when I sat down in the pilot seat for the first time, I was like, holy mother, I would hate to be having to fill this thing up continuously. And you'll see why when we take her out for a spin, because wow, lots of freaking tanks, man. Let's go on up here, and up here we have your upper hangars and kind of the main level of the ship. If I'm being honest, we have access to the different storage bays and everything. I think this button activates the door. Yep, the hangar doors up top. We have little compartments like this all over the ship that are hiding like various little logic bits, transceivers, and everything you need for this ship to function. I like how they're tucked away in these little access panels. It makes it really feel like, you know, something that belongs in a ship. So pretty cool. Right through here we have the elevator. This is a specially coded elevator that will come back to the ship and everything. It's pretty neat. So we have warning lights saying, okay, you know, we're in kind of standby mode right now. We'll get more onto the elevator later. Of course, there is more fuel tanks. They are everywhere. You almost need a map to figure out where the fuel tanks are. And here we have the other upper hangar with a very special AWP that comes with the ship. And I think this has a remote and a seat. So I think you can use it as an elevator, or you can use it as a ship with the the standard Horizon scripting on it. So there we go, as you can see. And then you might notice that button, the button here is the remote to open and shut the doors. So when you're coming in for a landing, pretty cool. Lots of sitting areas all around the ship, which is also nice. Notice the nice gold trimmed doors. That's a pretty nice little thing. And then we've got several rooms in here that are just kind of empty, waiting for your own creative spark to go into them, to decorate them how you see fit. Man, have I mentioned this is a big ship? I really like these pieces here, this voxel work here. I don't know why I like it so much, but I really do like this corridor piece. It looks very nice. And then through here we have, I think, another empty room, right? Yeah, it's kind of an observation area, almost looking out from the front of the ship. What do we have over in these corners? Just empty space, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, lots more space for you guys to decorate as you see fit. Somewhere, maybe that could be the captain's quarters. I haven't ran across those yet. If there is captain's quarters already, maybe that could be the captain's hot tub room or 10 forward or something. So a lot of these rooms could be like, these empty rooms you could set up for crew bunks and whatnot. I think that would probably be a good use for them, because you're definitely, with a ship this big, you definitely kind of want a crew to go with it, because oh my, she is big. We got elevators pretty much everywhere throughout the ship. Let's go ahead and go over here. You can see the warp drive to the ship, and you do see cargo everywhere, mostly centrally located. Over here we have the warp drive, and I believe the containers for the warp cells. There's two different hubs here. We take a look. I believe one of these, I don't know which one, but one of these goes to the warp drive. So yeah, pretty nice. Let's go ahead and head upstairs here. I believe this should take us up to the top deck landing area. We can see the shield right there. Really nice placement. I actually hadn't noticed it before. It's a great spot for it. Right here we have the main deck, I guess you could say, the landing deck, which, I honestly, I would love one of these things. I really would, because I've been needing a carrier. Because of all the ships I do all the time, I'd love something like this. I have a carrier. It's kind of a project, but it is nothing like this. This thing would just, it fits the bill. But my poor wallet cannot afford anything of this caliber. So yeah, if we hit this elevator here, it takes us up to the bridge, where we have a couple navigator seats on each side of the main command seat. We have a shield script. We have an AGG script. We have the elevator docking clamps. This kind of controls the elevator, so to speak. Arms it, gets everything ready for to disembark or re-embark. We have a warp cell calculator. We have an atlas screen over here, so you can look up special locations like the NQ pixel art or Jasper's space base, all the stuff that comes with the atlas. different markets, mining units. You know, obviously this is for you to account, add your own stuff in too, because that's the way the Atlas works. We have a warp cell calculator. At least I believe this is a warp cell calculator. I think I have one of these in this new-ish version of the warp cell calculator on my ship, and tells you all the information of the planets, their satellites, the the atmosphere, the whole 9 yards. Let's see, we're on Alioth. Let's hit this board once just to make sure everything's loaded. Let's click on Fades. And does it tell me how many warp cells it will take? I thought it did. It might not. It might be. Oh, there we go. 155. It says it's going to take 0 warp cells. So maybe this thing is not linked up to the core. I don't know. So it might not be able to tell the tonnage. But let's go ahead. And if I'm lagging a bit, I'm sorry. The other thing is this ship is so massive. And if you remember way back when I did the Pioneer by Captain's Customs, I had a lot of lag, and it was just my poor computer could not handle OBS and these large core ships with lots of elements all that well. But I can handle coffee. And speaking of coffee, today's video is brought to you. Oh, wait, no, that's not how this works. Sorry, I had a Linus Tech Tips moment. My bad. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take it up. We're gonna park at HEG level. I wonder what the HEG is set at here. It's at 2000, so that's fine. That'll work. And we're gonna also, while we're flying this thing, we're gonna get this thing up to HEG level. We're gonna try this elevator out and see how well it works, being the fact that it's a mobile elevator designed to ferry things to and from the ship. So theoretically, you could roll up to orbit, leave this thing in orbit, take the elevator down to deliver your cargo, and then come right back up with more cargo, or whatever. So yeah, stay tuned. We're going to hop in the seat here and go for a little ride. All right, let's take this thing up and see how she handles, shall we? Now, I don't ask me to do a crazy Ivan. This ship is way too big for that. No, I'm not trying it. Mainly because I don't want to repair it. Because no. But yeah, all right, so let's jump right in. We have a button here. Let's go ahead, and that should toggle the ramps out there. Now, this version has Arch HUD on it. They plan on giving you the choice of Arch HUD, Sagacious's HUD, or the Horizon system when you pick it up. So yeah, that is a definite thing. Okay, yeah, we did get our ramps closed. Is there a button on the bridge here to close the hangars that I'm not seeing? I don't actually know. Elevator docking clamps, ramps. That's the only buttons I see. I would like, personally, I would like to see an indicator, maybe an indicator light for the ramps, whether they're up or down, etc. And maybe a way to shut the hangar doors from up here. But that's just me personally. So, all right. So, okay, 1860. Wait. / AGG. Let's go back to 2000. Yeah, there we go. Get that going back up. Now let's go ahead and extend our gear up here as we take the Crusader out for a test spin. As you can see on the left, look at that, 16 Atmo tanks and 18 space tanks. This thing has got the fuels. Oh my goodness, right? Look at this block of engines as this thing is powering up. This thing is just, wow, man. I don't even know what to say. Words are escaping me as I'm trying to take off into the wild blue yonder here. Now, like I said, I don't expect me to try a crazy Ivan, because that would just be insane. It would no longer be a crazy island, or crazy Ivan. It'd be renamed Neo's Folly. So we're not doing that. We are going to expect to fly this ship like this ship is meant to be flown, like a very, very large, very, very, very heavy ship. As you can see, we have absolutely no problems taking off. Now, for reference, I don't have max flying skills, not in atmosphere. I have max space skills. My atmospheric flight skills are, level 4. So I don't have the worst skills ever, but they ain't max. So yeah, I just want that to be clear while we're flying this. And also, It is a little bit laggy for me, but that's to be expected. My computer didn't like the Pioneer, though this isn't nearly as bad as it was for me with the Pioneer, because the Pioneer was just, woo, that was just wow, man. Great ship, awesome looking ship, but if I had a better computer, I probably would have loved it. But it flew very well. This thing seems to fly pretty well as well. I'm going to get up here a little bit higher so I'm a little bit more comfortable, because this, honestly, I should have taken this thing for a test flight before I started recording. But you know what? We're doing it raw. We're doing it raw. So you're getting my live impressions as I'm flying this thing for the first time, and not quite knowing what to expect. Let's see if I can, what is it? Alt. There we go. Let's get rid of some of the clutter on the screen a little bit. No, it didn't actually help all that much. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and even ourselves out at 2.1. That sounds good. What is our AGG? Is at 2000. Whoa. Okay, this thing is just got so much power. In the moment it took me to hit Alt 6, which we were at 2.1, we'd already jumped up to almost 2.4 kilometers. So this thing's stabilizing right now. Man, this thing is just a beastie. It's a beastie boy. All right, let's level out. Let's see how she yaws. I don't see any stabilizers on her, so I don't expect the yaw to be all that great, but we're gonna give it a good college try. Also, it didn't give me any warnings of anything clipping, so she should be good to go straight out of the gate. So they definitely built this with the future in mind. Okay, so let's get a good, we're being held by the AGG, so we can take this a little far here. Let's go ahead and do, yeah, almost 45 degrees to see how she does. All right, so as you can see, this is to be expected with a ship of this caliber and this size. She is the yaw is just not the way you want to fly this ship. Although, yeah, let's turn the altitude hold off, because we are on the AGG, so it's not going to kill us theoretically. All right, let's roll. Let's hold that space bar. Let's let that line kind of catch up. There we go. There we go. That's much better. It catches up just fine if you're kind of banking into your turns like a sane person would. Though still, honestly, something like this you wouldn't expect to see do a big roll into its turns. But I mean, you know, that's dual universe. Let's go ahead and take her up into space and check out her space acceleration, and then we will try the elevator out and see how that works. All right, so as we're slowly reaching breakaway speed, this thing has more than enough power. Look at that. Look at all those XL engines back there and those large engines acting as support. This thing has plenty of freaking power, man. I'll tell you what, Bobby. Man, it's like flying a base. If you could put industry on this thing, you wouldn't need a base. You would just need one of these. It'd be just like, yeah. This would also be great to take a small, a small strike fleet of like M cores and S cores or something out to the edge of the PvP zone. Have this thing parked right at the boundary on the safe side of things, because I don't know, I wouldn't want to take this thing out into PvP space. It does have a shield and all, but that's just me. This is an expensive toy. I wouldn't want to lose it. Otherwise, honestly, it would be great for running missions too, especially like something for on an org side of things. So you could have all your org members just drop packages on, use the elevators to hoist them up and up from the planet or back down to the drop off, etc., etc. you definitely got options on the way you would want to, or could potentially use this ship. All right, let's get up here and let's get out of Alias influence, and then we will do a dead stop and see how quickly she accelerates. All right, we've gotten pretty far away from Alioth. We're still in 0.2G, but I figured that's good enough. Let's go ahead and ramp up these engines with the brakes on, let them spool up, and then loose the hounds of war. Maybe cry havoc before that too. But you know, that's an optional part. Look at those engines just spooling up. You can just hear the power thrumming through the entire ship. She really is a nice looking carrier, complete with the Shadow Templar logo cleverly displayed as a window looking down into the decks of the ship. All right, so we should be spooled. Let's go ahead and let loose and see how quickly we start getting up to speed. Now, I am not going to take this thing all the way up to 30K just because I don't want to waste all the fuel that is in this thing. This thing is definitely not a daily driver ship, at least in my opinion. If you have lots and lots of resources for fuel, then have fun, man. But this is one of those ships that you kind of use as a forward base, in my opinion, or in space as, you know, a mission runner or something of that nature. But as you can see, she doesn't accelerate too bad. She's not nearly as slow as I personally would have anticipated given her size. I mean, we are talking 11 kilotons, almost 12 kilotons worth of ship here. So yeah, she gets going pretty good. We're going to cut her back here at 10K. And let the brakes bring us to a stop and see how that does. All right, 9K. Start throttling down. Oh, a little more. Let's bring it, try and get nice, even 10K here. Oh, there we go. Close enough for government work. All right. Let's hit the brakes and see the decel. That's not too bad. About 100 kilometers every second is what a decel rate is. Yeah, 100 kilometers an hour per second. That didn't really make sense, but you know what I mean. We're dropping that about speed per second. Yeah. So I guess 100 kilometers an hour per second. I don't know. Somebody who is a mathematician, you can tell me what that is in the comments. All right. So yeah, she is stopping pretty quick. She's doing really good. All right. So let's go ahead and take her back and park her at AGG height above beautiful DIA headquarters and take a look and see how this elevator works, because I'm super curious. Now, they do offer a short instructional period on use of this elevator, since it is specially scripted for the ship to be able to return to the ship, etc., etc. Which, you know, I didn't take them up on that offer. They did say if I needed some help with the elevator or an explanation on how to get it to do everything it's supposed to let them know. And me being me, I'm like, nah, I got this. Hold my beer. So let's go find out if I truly got this or not. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this elevator that comes with the Crusader. So there's a couple setup things that you need to do to get this to work right, and we're going to go ahead and cover those. Now, this is not normally something I do in the chip showcase videos, but I feel like this is something you guys should know if you're interested in buying this ship. Oh, bless his Lonnie. My dog sneezed. All right, so one of the first things you should do whenever you are leaving the ship with the elevator, because there's some weird wonky DU stuff that happens, and my mouse is being weird, you should activate this thing. Go ahead and go into and click on the set RTB. So it's, you know, with the ship, it's this one over here, this labeled ship is set. You know, you're setting where the ship is for it to return to. Then after you do that, what you want to do is you want to open up these doors right here, like so. And then just toggle this thing on and toggle it off. Or you can take manual control. The point is though, is, uh-oh, mouse, don't be doing this to me. The point is we are going down to set where it's supposed to be landing at. Now, if you have a spot that you're continuously using the elevator at on a constant, and you're not going to be changing its landing location all that often, you don't have to go through this step. But if you're using it kind of like a dynamic thing where you're going between markets and things like that and using the elevator to carry your cargo down, etc., then you are going to, there we go. You're going to have to reproduce this step pretty much every time. So now that we're down here, we can, man, GeForce Now is acting a little weird. My mouse keeps getting lost for some reason. We can go down here and we set RTV down here. So now if we turn this one off and we turn this one on, if my mouse will work right, I am having technical difficulties. We can hit RTB here, and this thing should dock us right back with the ship, right above. And now this will work at pretty much any height you have the ship set at, long as you remember to set RTB before you leave the ship. So now this thing should take us right back up into place. And away we go. I don't know what is going on with GeForce Now and my mouse right now. It is just not getting along. Every once in a while it's not driving my input. And I switched to GeForce Now because if you remember in the earlier segment of the video when I was flying the Crusader around, I was getting a lot of lag, and it's just because running OBS and trying to fly around a ship that has over 1,000 or around 1,000 elements on it is pretty hard on my poor little system. Oh, maybe I'm a little too low in the atmosphere for this to work right, but this should just come up here and be happy and dock. As you can see, it's trying. I did this, I did a dry run of this last night. I had 0 problems docking the elevator. It just worked just fine. This is interesting. I don't know why it's not working. I'm not going to cut this out because this should be working and not. And 1500 should be a good height for this to be able to do this at. I'll have to get with the Shadow Templar guys, find out what's going on with it. But yeah, last night I docked this thing. It had 0 problems getting up into the cradle and just docking. So what I am going to do is, I'm going to toggle the ECU real quick. And then I am going to take manual control. Oh yeah, probably ought to hit emergency stop. Okay. Now I've got manual control. Let's ease her on up. Actually, you know what? Let's actually just try hitting RTV now. No, that's not doing it. Huh. Interesting. All right, I'm going to try and take her back down. So let's turn this one off. We're in the ECU has got control of the ship now. Let's turn this one on. Let's tell this to RTB and see if it goes back down just fine. And then we'll try coming up one more time. Now, this is early days for using an elevator in this use case scenario. So it could very well be that, there's a few things to iron out still, which, they update things as they can for people. All you gotta do is put in a ticket in their support channel on their Discord and be patient. So okay, so this should take us all the way under the water. I'm not 100% sure it's gonna work going down under the water, but we'll find out. Oh, look at that, just fine. This peachy is happy. And down we are. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and deactivate that one. Reactivate this one, hit RTB, and we'll try it one more time. It might be the fact that I'm going underwater, and that might be what's causing the issue. If it doesn't do it this time, we'll see about getting it docked back up manually, I suppose. And then I'll go somewhere else. It might just be the fact that this is starting out underwater, might be throwing it off. But we'll see what happens this time. And then the next thing you'll see, we'll be trying it again at a different location. Just to double check, see if maybe it is the water that is causing the problem. We'll keep the altitude at 1500. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go try and dock this thing up manually, and we will go and try a different. Oh, it just flipped. Look at that. We'll go try a different location. I think maybe the fact that it's starting out underwater is messing with it. See what it does now. That bump now is readjusting. Going in, we're going in, we're going in. Not quite making it. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get this thing manually docked, and we will see if we move to a different location where we're not underwater, if that makes a difference. All right, guys. So I've repositioned myself a little bit. I'm also back on my local machine instead of using GeForce now, trying to minimize the potential causes. So let's do a full run. We're going to start at the ground level, have this thing dock real quick, and then we'll come do another descent. So, but as I was saying, you have to kind of set the base positions for up and down manually at first. So I will walk you through that again, because I'm not sure if the last segment I left in where I was having some problems with the elevator or not. So yeah, we'll just do it over, because that's the way the cookie crumbles. I like it. Now, I did notice at 1500 meters, which is why I currently have the ship at, the elevator kind of bounces in and out of the cradle a little bit, but does get up there and dock. It wouldn't do it while it's on GeForce Now, so I think it was the GeForce Now issue specifically. It just kept bouncing in and out of the socket for the elevator. Now, this last time I tested it, it bounced in and out a couple times, and then eventually it did get in there right in the right position. It's like it's having to try and figure out how much thrust it needs to achieve it. So it's like doing some finite calculations. So worst case scenario, it definitely last night I had this thing at 6,000 meters. It did not have this problem whatsoever. It just went straight in and socketed. So, but obviously I was up at the point where gravity was a little bit lower, and it had its space engines, clipped a little bit, to rely on as well at that point. So that would obviously make it a little bit easier on it. Right now, I think in this use case scenario, since it's still in, pretty much full on gravity, I'm making it a little bit harder on the elevator than it needs to be. But worst case scenario, if you run into a situation like this, you can just hit emergency stop, take manual control, like so, and then just fly her on up in manually. Also, for doing this, I would recommend arming the ECU, because you don't want to attack this too hard, because you don't want to slam into the ship, but you can feather her on up and in just fine, like so, and then just hit your doors. Oh, I did too late. I wish there was kind of a hotkey on the keyboard you could toggle for to activate the doors, but we can also come up in like so, and now we're good. We are docked again. Turn that ECU off. So, you know, even if the elevator isn't getting all the way up in here, it's you're not boned. As long as you have set your return to base functionality for where the ship is and you can get it close, you can just manually fly it up, and not a huge deal whatsoever. Early days for this kind of concept, honestly. Still a cool concept. But as I was saying, to take it down, what you want to do is basically activate this, and then you want to open your doors and kind of let fall out and just let fall to the ground. Feathering it on and off is the way I was doing it, so the brakes would engage, so it wouldn't hit the ground at terminal velocity. And then you get it down there and you go over to the set RTB button, set the position for it, and then you can, from there, you should just be able to, as long as you're lined up just right, you should be able to, that's not what I wanted to do, but you should just be able to hit the RTB button. Now I am slightly misaligned from where it landed. Oh no, it actually worked that time. And it was trying to correct deviation and was not quite landing just right. So I would have to let drop out manually, like a little bit, like I just ended up doing, and then hitting the button. Overall, the experience for the way it works pretty well. Like I said, early days for this kind of concept, I think still, but I think it's a cool concept. Definitely a cool concept. As long as you set your base positions the way you want it, to begin with, you are good to go. But you gotta do that, and it's recommended that every time you bring it down out of the ship, you just go ahead and go in and set that RTB button up right, because there could be little micro deviations from the ship just hovering up there. Like it might move like 1/10 of a meter, and that is enough with as tight as this elevator fits in there, enough of a deviation to make it kind of clip the wall a little bit. So overall, I think the Crusader by Shadow Templar is a very, very interesting ship. It comes with a bunch of ships plus a built-in elevator. It's a very cool concept, very cool ship. For an individual, I don't think it's a great purchase, but I mean, if you have the money and you want something cool like this, then by all means go for it. But for like an organization-wide ship to use for like running missions or doing whatever, how is it going to make it on its own this time? I think it's a great purchase, and it's a something to look at, because this would be great for running missions and just using the elevator to haul things up and down so you don't have to land the ship. So yeah, overall, very cool concept. It's a good looking ship. And for this, there we go, it did it on its own. Look at that, perfect. So now if we just turn on the button, and it's docked, and it'll shut itself off in just a second. Boom. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, guys, that is going to be it. We didn't fly the shuttle that comes with the ship, and I don't think I covered the AWP on screen. I did fly it a little bit, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you could technically, since it has the remote control, you can technically use it as an elevator or as a little ship. One thing I would like to note is the bays for the ships that come with this are the buttons that control the doors. Like this one is hard coded to this door, so you can't, it won't open the hangar door on the other side. But that's something you can easily change in the settings for the transmitter and remotes. And honestly, if you're getting one of these, you should probably set up your own custom channels anyway. That way, somebody else that has one of the ships that from one of these things can't just come up and board your ship whenever they feel like it, or open the doors. So yeah, anyway, guys, this has been the Crusader by Shadow Templar. I think it's an amazing concept. It is a really cool ship. It is a huge mamma jamma, and overall pretty cool. So yeah, there will be a link down below in the description to the DU creators page as normal. And if you guys decide to pick up one of these, let me know, and maybe tell them, hey, I saw this on Neo's video and thought it was cool or whatever, and want one. I'm kind of trying to keep track of if I end up helping a creator sell a ship or not. It's just, I don't get anything from it. It's just a curiosity. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Love you faces, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, this is Neo, and I'll see you in game. Bye.